Selamat pagi dan selamat datang kepada Bapak dan Ibu semua. Salam sehat dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Saya dengan Hendra dan bersama rekan saya, Ibu Titi dari PT Pelita Promo Internusa, mengucapkan terima kasih dan selamat datang kepada seluruh para peserta dan para pengunjung acara Refrigeration HVAC Indonesia dan IISM Cold Chain Online Expo yang akan berlangsung mulai hari ini sampai dengan Sabtu 12 Desember 2020. Dan untuk program kita saat ini merupakan salah satu fitur online exhibition kami, yaitu workshop product presentation, yang akan menghadirkan pembahasan tentang produk-produk dari para exhibitor kami. Acara ini akan berlangsung dari jam 10 pagi hingga jam 5 sore, selama 3 hari. Dan Bapak Ibu dapat melihat jadwal yang berlangsung di dalam aplikasi dan website kami. Selain itu, Bapak, Ibu dapat berinteraksi secara langsung dengan mengajukan pertanyaan di setiap sesi dari setiap peserta. Silakan apabila ingin mengajukan pertanyaan dapat mengunjungi box Q&A yang sudah tersedia. Dan di sesi-sesi tertentu akan ada presentasi menggunakan bahasa Inggris, seperti sesi kita yang pertama ini. Dan kami rekomendasikan akan lebih baik dapat bertanya menggunakan bahasa Inggris. Baik, kita akan langsung masuk ke acara product presentation sesi pertama yang akan dibawakan oleh Bapak Mr. Lau Kerja dari AAF International Malaysia selama 30 menit ke depan. Hello, good morning Mr. Lau Kerja.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, please deliver your presentation within the next 30 minutes.
Okay, so let me share out the screen first.
Okay.
So everyone can see the screen right now? It's the Kitchen Ecology Solution. Hold on. So we can see the Kitchen Ecology Solutions. So today my presentations will be actually referring to Kitchen Ecology Solutions. So what is it all about? So let's wait for a while. So right now, everyone, we need to eat 3 meals per day. We need to eat breakfast, dinner, and also lunch. So if we want to eat, there must be someone who need to cook for us. So everyone knows cooking will generate some smoke or some fuel, maybe some odor. So the first thing we want to know about the cooking emissions is cooking emissions harmful? So we can maybe go to the next slide. Is about the airborne contaminants. So from here you can see actually oil and cooking smoke is parked under a particular filtration site, and it has a particle size around 0.1 to 3 micrometer. So how will it affect our health? So if we look from the WHO guidelines, so it says that let's say the particle size is 0.1 to 3, so it can easily small enough to penetrate deep into the alveoli. So which means it's maybe able to go into our blood cell or blood as well. So which is harmful to our human lungs. And some researchers even say that cooking fume contain carcinogens. So this has been a research done by the NTNU. So it's documented that cooking fume is from normally cooking contain both tar and high amount of chemical compound called aldehyde. So this kind of chemical is actually contain carcinogen, which means that it can easily cause us to have cancer. So what is the cooking emission containment? So basically, kitchen emission containment, we can basically easily separate them into 2 categories. The first one is the odor, or we can say molecular contaminations. The second one will be a oil grease or smoke contaminations. So what does these 2 contaminants will affect? So the first one is the oil stain. So the effects of the kitchen emission contaminant oil stain. So you can easily see this is the sample of exhaust directly out from the kitchen. So it will have some oil stain on your wall. So this definitely will affect the appearance of the buildings. So if you are using this type of exhaust fan, so you can see due to the oil stain on the exhaust fan, so it will also affect the lifespan as well. So how about the order? So let's say the kitchen is near to your neighborhood, so it's near to the residential area. So definitely it will bring some disturbance to the neighbor as well. So it is also quite important to eliminate it. So of course, the last one is the fire hazard. So if we didn't have any step to trap the oil mist, so definitely your exhaust duct will full of waste. So this will be easily getting burned if there is any fire happen. So fire hazard is also a concern why we should taking care of the kitchen emissions contaminants. So there is a case study fire hazard in kitchen. So saying that any substance that associate with grease will first ignited in half of the cooking fire that begin with cooking material. So this is you can see you can get more information from the NFPA. So over here they also mark their concerns on the grease that's staying in our ducting or even in the kitchen. Okay. So how about some of us will say most of the time, like even in fast food or some restaurant, our kitchen food already install a mechanical grease filter. So doesn't it help? So this is also another study that been carried out and recorded in the X-ray journal. So they say according to the study from X-ray journal, so it shows that the average efficiency of I won't say average is the efficiency of mechanical grease filter in filtering grease is start from 5% to 70%. So you can start imagine maybe a lot of these things they claim that yeah, cyclonic filter, we have buffer filters. They claim that it's around 90% or more than 95%. But this is because they are placed too near to the our kitchen stove. So maybe it's not that efficient enough to trap all the vapor generated during cooking, like maybe the oil, because if the temperature is so high, so it's not able to be trapped by using this mechanical grease because it's still under vapor stage. Okay, so that's why we have this kind of product. In AF, we call it ESP, and around the world, we also call it ESP, electrostatic precipitator. So what is the working principle? So from here, you can see actually there's a dirty air. Dirty air over here, normally we are referring to the oil mist and all this kind of thing. So we have a pre-filter. Pre-filter is kind of like we can use a mechanical filter to like slightly reduce the oil mist, and then before going into the main part is a collector or ionizer. So over here, the ionizer will ionize all the film or all the oil particles. So we'll charge it, and then it will be collected by the collector. So after this, only clean air will be coming up. So this concept is basically using an electrostatic to charge up the oil film and make it easily to be attracted to the collector. Okay, so in AF, we have two models of it, so which used for grease and smoke removal. So first one is the Q series, we call it MAM ESP Q series. So Q series, normally we are targeting to a small scale restaurant. So it is more compact size and the average air velocity will be 5 meters per second. And the oil removal efficiencies will be 90%. So it's not modular design. So we have targeted various airflow. So according to your airflow, we'll provide you different model. So this is for Q series model. So we have another one is for E1 series model. E1 series model, normally we are target for a hotel and kind of like a shopping mall. So this is a modular design. So with that, we able to cater higher airflow. So let's say that right now we have 30E1 series. So 30E1 series is to cater 300 cmh of the airflow. So if you have 600 cmh, we can use two 30E1 series to cater your 600 cmh. So this is what we call modular design. and later we will showing more about the modular design. So the air velocity will be from 2 to 2.5 meter per second to 3.5 meter per second. This is normally due to most of the consultant design, or I will say a tender spec. So they will prefer the air velocity roughly 2.5 meter per second. That's why E1 series will be more suitable for all your tender project or your consultant design. So the efficiency compared to a Q series is also higher for the E1 series. So the oil removal efficiencies actually can go up to 95%. So what is the beneficial of E1 series? E1 series actually it can also incorporate with a UV light and also carbon sections. So maybe I will say your restaurant is focused on to the grease and smoke removal only. Definitely you can consider Q series and E1 series. But if let's say you are also consider about the odor removal, maybe you need the one that the suitable model for you will be the MAN ESP E1 series because it's able to incorporate with UV light and also a carbon section. So we go to the ESP configuration next. So normally we call this one as a single pass. So single pass, let's say for this ESP configuration, we will more focus on the E1 series. So for example, right now your target airflow is 3000 cmh. So if you just want to target 3000 cmh, you can definitely use a 30E1 series. So let's say like, for example, just now I say you're targeting a 6000 cmh airflow. So you can stack 2 units of 30E1 series together. But if you're using these 2 units stacked vertically, configurations, the efficiency actually remain unchanged, still remain as 95%, but with a higher airflow. So let's say you want to increase your efficiencies, you can consider this we call double pass ESP configurations. So this double pass ESP configurations, it will increase the resistance of the ESP itself, but it will improve the efficiencies from 95% until 99.75%. So by using this configuration, it's actually is quite good and is recommended if let's say you are something like targeting for a fast food chain, maybe for example McDonald's, Burger King, because this type of fast food chain it will generate a lot of oil smoke or oil fumes. So 99.75% is a good one to prevent any oil emissions or any fume emissions go to your pedestrian street or go outside your building. So leave the oil stain and all these kind of things. Okay. So the next one we will be going to is the odor removal. If you still remember the kitchen emissions, we face 2 contaminants. The first one is the smoke and oil film. The second one is the odor. So if you have a need to remove the odor from your kitchen emissions, so you might consider E1 series incorporate with UV series or CB series. So right now we are going into the UV series first. So UV series is still the same because it's able to have a modular design with E1 series. So it can incorporate with ESP E1 series. So it have an odor removal more than 90%. So how it's actually to remove the odor? So the first thing is actually generate the ozone. So this ozone is actually non-flammable gas. So it will require 2 to 3 second contact time to have the reactions with the odor that released. So that it can remove the odor that generates during your cooking stage. So this is one type of way to remove odor removal is a UV series. So typically people will prefer UV series more than a carbon series. The main reason is if we are using 95% of oil film removal rate, they will still have a possible 5% of oil film being released into the environment. So if we are using carbon behind of the E1 series, let's say ESP, so 5% of the oil film will be easily stick on the carbon. So it will increase the carbon pressure drop dramatically and also reduce the carbon lifespan. So before that, we're going into the carbon series. So this is the carbon series that just now we talked about. So activated carbon sections. So inside it is a carbon pellet filled with activated carbons. So it's still the same with the UV series. It's a modular design, and it can be also the same corporate with the ESP series. So the odor removal rate is also around 90%. But the problem is, like I said just now, so if you are going to use a carbon series to remove the odor, first thing you must be very careful is the oil removal efficiency. So like I said just now, instead of using 95%, maybe what you need is a double pass. So to increase the oil removal efficiencies until around 99%, so that this will be able to prolong your carbon series lifespan. So we can go to the next one. The next one is the AAF Kitchen Ecology Solutions. So this is basically how it's going to install at site. The first stage is the oil remover. The first stage I will say is the pre-filter. The pre-filter is kind of like a mechanical filter that just now we saw. So normally this one can be installed at your kitchen hood, or you can also install it just before the ESP. So it's for the oil, grease, oil, and moisture separator. So the second one and the third stage will be a electrostatic precipitator. Q series or E1 series is depend on your applications. So optional for double pass. So like I said, if you are considering to use a carbon filter, definitely I will suggest you to use the double pass configurations. So because this one can make sure that only limited oil film pass through the ESP and being stick on your carbon, activated carbon. So the fourth stage normally will be the odor removal section. So it depends on your application. Some people will choose a UV and another person will choose a carbon, depend on the application at your site. So the last stage is a mask. So the last stage is a fan section. This fan section is normally not provided for the AAF supplier. So actually you can get your exhaust fan supplier to do it. So it's just a exhaust fan sections to extract your cooking film and oil out from the kitchen itself. Okay. So what is the combination can be useful for the E1 series? Definitely if you are more concerned on the UV for the odor remover. So what you can do is you put a E1 series ESP in front of it, and then you put a UV and then add on a carbon series. So this is definitely can have a quite efficient odor removal efficiency over here by using these combinations. The second combination is we have another product. Just now we say is a Q series, E1 series. So this one is another series that for the economical way to do it. So E1C series, C stands for the combinations. So by using this E1 combination series, so it already include a UV inside and carbon as an optional. So this one is also the same. We are normally use it to target for hotel and the mall, most probably for consultant design and the tender spec, 2.5 to 3.5 meter per second. And the efficiencies for oil film removal or oil mist removal is around 95%. So it's built in with UV light, already come with UV light and carbon as an optional. So carbon you can choose either you want a honeycomb carbon or a carbon tray or MAC carbon. It's kind of like a pleated filter MAC. So we already know the spec or the model that AAF provide. ESP Q series, most probably for small scale restaurants. E1 series for tender spec. E1C series also for tender spec. The difference between E1 and E1C series is E1C series is a combination. One unit already include UV and a slot for us to put in a carbon filter. E1 series is a modular design. You'll need a UV series and a carbon series if you need for odor removal. So combinations, E1C series combinations is a good product if you want to have a more compact design and also an economical way to solve your waste and also your odor contaminants. Okay, so other than that, actually AAF ESP product, we have compliances to X-ray and EN. So for X-ray, we tested it by X-ray 52.2, and for EN 779, we also tested it under EN 779 particle test. So it have a 95% efficiency at 500 FPM. That means the speed. So you can refer to the diagram over here. So so this is for the resistance and this is for the efficiency. So for the line you see 500 FPM is around here. So it's around for 95%. If you still remember, we say it's 0.1 to 3 micrometer. So the efficiency is around 95%. So other than that, actually AF ESP also have a safety compliances. So we have a CE compliances, which is a electrical integrity that is built in the European compliances. So this is for machine safety and quality. So UL 867, this one we are still applying. So it's still in the progress. So it's actually a safety standard for electronic air cleaner. So other than that, we are also compliant to IP55. So IP55 normally is for a physical resistance and also a water resistant standard. So it's IP enclosure rating and standard. So understand all this. So we will go to the next one because maybe some people are still not familiar actually how we are going to design a ESP airflow. So this is some of the rule of thumb that is being applied in Malaysia. So let's say for a light smoke, so maybe some noodle shop, like some breakfast store, so solid breakfast restaurant, so they only generate some light smoke only. So we can, using a rule of thumb, 2000 cmh per stove. So if you are saying a regular cooking restaurant or seafood, so maybe per stove we need to use 3000 cmh. So if it's a very heavy cooking of the oil, or it will generate a heavy smoke, so we will go to 4000 cmh per stove. So this is how we're going to calculate it by using rule of thumb. Another ways that we're going to calculate it is also based on the hood. So hood surface. So let's say because normally the air velocity for the hood surface will be 0.5 meter per second. So if the hood surface area is 2.4 meter square, so we just times it with 0.5 meter per second, then we can calculate out airflow that we needed. So for the ESP installation, there is also some design guideline that need to be considered because it's good for us to have an ESP, but if we are install it or design into it's not proper, so maybe it's not able to perform as it's supposed to be. So we promote to have an even airflow distribute because this can provide a better efficiency and also performance. So this is a correct way for us to install. So the duct maybe will need something like a reducer after it and something of this before it. Okay, so if we are using just a normal duct, so definitely it won't provide us a even airflow. So this will affect the ESP performance or its efficiency as well. So this some airflow distributions that we calculate it using a CFD. So you can see there is an uneven airflow and distributions which generate low efficiency because even though we have this duct, so it still have to have some angle of it. So the most suitable angle, so this problem is install it directly after the bending of the ducting. So normally what we recommend is 1.5 diameter arc radius elbow. So if this is the place that we're going to bank the duct, so definitely we will need some space for it to stabilize the airflow, because else it will be like a turbulence airflow. So from here, it can make the airflow more distributed evenly before entering to the ESP. So if you have, after this, you still have a little bit of 4 times equivalent diameter duct, of course, it can generate even better airflow distribution before entering to the ESP. And this is very crucial because it will directly affect the ESP performance. So installation guide, this is basically how it's going to be installed at site. So floor installation, maybe you can see you have a kitchen hood, you can bend directly, goes down. So here is the one that I say, after bending, you need to have some space, and then reducers goes to the ESP. And then after that, only the exhaust fan. Exhaust fan definitely will be the last place, because this ESP need to be operated under negative pressure. So after exhaust fan, after ESP only is install the exhaust fan. This is a crucial part. So still the same thing, your kitchen stove, your hood, so your reducer, ESP, after that only we have a exhaust fan. So same goes to a ceiling installation as well. So the next slide will be showing you is a project reference. So this is how they install at site. So they have it after that. So some of the people are using AAF SAH to remove the order. So this is the example. So this is also a way that people install at site. So installation is a crucial part for us to taking care of our environment, to remove the oil mist, the grease, and also the odor, so that we are not disturbed to our neighbor or to our environment. So after installations, all of the equipment must have a maintenance. So for AAF ESP, we are recommend to have an on-site cleaning every 2 months. So this is to avoid that the grease, it will become hardened if too long that we didn't take care of our collector cell. So this is the collector cells that we refer to. So if it's already become hardened on the collector cell, so it will be very hard for us to clear it off. And this definitely will reduce the efficiency of the ESP itself. Okay. So thank you. Basically, this is my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kercia, for that wonderful presentation. See you on the next refrigeration aspect to 2021.